this game, or else all is lost for the one-trick chances of getting to E3. Game number 1 of our second quarterfinal here for week number 6 in North America starts now.
Yeah, I do like Tulin and Anigod here because Tulin is a lot easier to land skill shots. And look at that. They were able to predict Upsla in there. Lands a huge Wailing Blade stun into the enemy team. And as a result, both teams are going to back off and not engage. So Anigod, again, on Tulin. I really like because Tulin isn't a very high skill cap hero in terms of landing skill shots because Iron Blast, pretty straightforward. His Blink, pretty straightforward as well. And his ultimate is just click the hero that you want to hit. So I like the Tulin pick on Anigod, and I feel like they are able to minimize the skill shotting of Prada that we see Anigod kind of not be as proficient on.
Always Green's going to find himself caught out just a little bit. However, the damage is not enough quite yet on Zaxia and Anigod to secure themselves that kill, but it will acquire just enough of a vision. Always Green, just as I say that, gets pulled in by Zaxia. Zelf being able to do a little bit of poke damage, juggling in between that jungle monster as well as the enemy team. Lots of scuffles off the mark thus far. Zaxi will find himself very low. The last tick of damage from Always Green is going to be enough, as it looks like First Blood goes over into the hands of One Trick.
Yeah, they got to be careful there. That was a 4v2 there, and Zaxia just needed to back off. Kind of put himself in out of position, and as a result, they lost the kill. However, One Trick is not converting that to any objective. You know, they can invade the jungle at that point and shut down and take the jungle from Flower, but instead they're just gonna back off and go back to their farming, which I think is a huge miss for One Trick, because when someone dies there, especially at the close to 2-minute mark, you can abuse it and rotate to Sentinel or even set up to starve jungle out and get ahead.
So now 2 minutes into the game, we can see the Upsla members rotating towards the bottom side of the map. Abyssal Dragon being the ultimate desire of these two teams. Flowery finds himself taking the Seagull. Verche trying to help themselves out to get a little bit of extra vision of this One Trick team. Now, taking a look at this composition and how these first 5 minutes are going to play out, where are you expecting, or how are you expecting this Mina pick in the early stages, early levels play out for their team?
Yeah, Mina can engage on Alice first, can taunt her, can use a death sit to pull her in there, and they can just kill Always Green, honestly, because normally the Alice is going to try to get vision and be overextended slightly, so they need to just get a pick on her. She has no mobility. She has friendship as a way to increase her speed and get out, but look at Flowery there, going in there by himself, which is really dangerous for him.
A little bit too overzealous, but when the team is there to help, you're going to be finding yourself in a much better situation. However, he will end up taking a shield to the dome, as he's going to become fresh fish sushi, as it's going to be a 1-for-1 trade. Zelf going down as well. One Trick unable to get themselves anything extra. Anigod catches out dual spirals. Always Green and Vey are going to have to be forced to move around to the opposite side of the map to safety. And so now with dual spirals down and the spawning just now happening of Zelf, it's going to have to be a Abyssal Dragon. But in the meanwhile, because of the rotation, Bruticus was able to take a tower in the top side.
Yeah, when Max flies across like that, this is why Omen is so good into Max. When he leaves his lane like that, it opens up the tower completely to Omen to easily push the lane and get a tower. And as a result, they trade Dragon for tower, which is not bad for both teams.
Abyssal Dragon has been taken. Now you see Bruticus taking the Spirit Sentinel for the side of One Trick. 7.5 thousand gold, 200 gold separate these two teams, as it looks like we are seeing a much closer match. Actually, no, as close as we were anticipating. We knew that this was going to be an all against the wall. Both of these teams putting pedal to the metal, as we have yet another scuffle in the bottom side of the map. Vey being forced to pop his ultimate to try to get himself to safety. Verche and Bruticus are trying to get themselves a little bit of a fight. Bruticus does have the advantage of levels, but when you have the teammate to help, you're going to be much happier all the same. Dual Spirals does not end up picking up that kill. They walk away safely, as a nice little reset has happened for both teams.
Yeah, you can see Lubu can hold his own 1v1 versus Omen. It's pretty even for the most part, but Lubu, when he activates his Conqueror, is going to win in that 1v1 damage output and trading there, because ultimate gives him so much sustain, so much magic resistance as well. And look at this rotation by One Trick. 4-man rotation into jungle there.
So now We find ourselves in a situation where Upsla has to make a decision. Where are they going to go and how are they going to be more proactive? Because as it stands, One Trick has done a fantastic job of reallocating their resources across the various parts of the map, but now it's a reallocation of Upsla into kills. Bruticus and Always Green end up going down. Flowery will fall as well to Zelf, but all the while that is a 2-for-1 trade in favor of Upsla. And with 25 seconds left remaining on the Abyssal Dragon, it looks like they can posture towards that bottom side of the map.
Yeah, that was such an unfortunate face check there for Always Green. Again, Alice is so squishy. Walked into the bush, immediately got CC'd. And look at that, building enchanted kicks. So Alice is going to be more of a backline support here, not a tank. So face checking as Alice is actually super dangerous because of the magic pierce and magic ability damage that you're building on the Alice here. So you got to play more backline. You got to kind of test the bush, hit some sunshine abilities into there and see if the opponent is going to respond.
So now we find Zaxia in a rough situation, finding herself at below 20% HP. Gonna have to be forced to recall the upgraded boots being purchased there by God to help him move around the map a little bit. Max, an individual that we haven't seen yet really much at all today here in the Valor series, hasn't been able to create his pressure across the map, but as a result now we're finding Abyssal Dragon being taken down by Zelf as the scuffle continues to happen towards the bottom side of the tower. Always Green picks up that kill yet again onto Flower. Andy God being first to back away. He's going to be able to pop his ultimate, but it's not going to matter as God picks the kill up onto Zelf. God will end up using his ultimate to try to get to the back line, but with the tower to defend them, One Trick is going to walk away safe.
Yeah, I like what they did there. They switched Max to the Dragon lane, and Omen is now facing Lubu, and that's such a smart lane trade there. Instead of having the Max get countered by Omen, they put Max in the Dragon side, winning Dragon side of the map, and as a result, getting a nice advantage here. And Omen can't really push a tower against a Lubu because they're, for the most part, even because it's more of a skill matchup. However, that last fight was critical because Kilgraf, Flowery, went in too aggressive. He is trying to go in too aggressive, and as a result, being punished for it so badly. But Upsla is able to turn it around with these engages.
God is going to end up falling. Will he get caught out by One Trick? Unfortunate situation for them. So despite the back and forth, Upsla finding some advantageous positioning in these little scuffles, One Trick has still acquired themselves a 1,500 gold lead at just over the 7-minute mark.
Yeah, this is going to be huge. And now One Trick, they need to abuse it. They need to start shutting down jungle, get more objectives, secure more dragons. It's 1-to-1 in dragons and 1-to-1 in towers. However, they have a nice gold lead, which they now need to get some picks, push some more objectives, and just punish Flowery. I mean, just bait Flowery to go in, because Flowery is very trigger-happy in this game. He wants to just go in and fight. Look at it, he's doing the same thing over again right now.
It's a fight, fight, fight mentality for Flowery as him and the rest of his team decide to fight here for One Trick, but numbers advantage is in their favor as Andy God finds himself very low. God, in the meanwhile, goes himself into the backside, finds himself way too close under the tower. Not going to be working out in his favor. Dual Spiral is able to pick up that kill. Meanwhile, Valor is going to find himself in a rough spot. Two members have fallen for Upsla. The benefit of the tower is there.
Oh, wow.
Dual Spiral's barely coming out with his life, but Upsla not having any sort of coordination on these fights.
Yeah, they got to be careful. I mean, the Max God went in there underneath the tower, under 4 people. Ryoma then stunned him under tower, and he was instantly deleted. However, somehow, Upsla still gets ahead in that fight. And look at Andy God here. He gets outplayed by Dual Spiral. However, A is going to be able to secure the kill, and it's a 1-for-1 trade.
The 1-for-1 trade happens. Now, I've got to beg the question because the question needs to be begged, Suijay. We are at almost 9 minutes into this game. As these trades are happening back and forth, assuming that this trend of trading continues, who are you having the advantage in the late game as we see Verche falling there to Vair?
Yeah, what a nice bracelet submission stun there onto Lubu, securing the kill. And now as a result, they're going to rush the Darkslayer. So One Trick, if they get Darkslayer, that's going to give them so much map control over the next minute and a half while that Darkslayer buff is up. Darkslayer
is going to end up going down immediately in favor of One Trick. Flowery finds himself getting caught out yet again. That is not where we want you to be, good sir. You might be a flower, but this is not your pot to grow in. Zaxia will end up falling as well. Always Green, sticking to his name set as the members of One Trick find themselves in yet again another victory. 3,000 gold in their advantage, but more importantly, Darkslayer in their hands.
I'm trying to understand, when Darkslayer is taken, the game tells you the Darkslayer is taken. They still try to face check the bush, check what's going on.
Surprise!
Hey, is the Darkslayer there still? It's just taken, apparently. And as a result, 4v2 with the Darkslayer buff instantly deleted, and this puts them very much more behind. And right now, Upsla isn't playing like they used to. Their momentum is completely lacking now, and they're making some very questionable plays that I feel it's costing them so much in this game.
10 minutes into the game, 5-kill advantage, but more importantly, it's the objectives that have put One Trick ahead and away. 5,000 gold is their advantage, and as we mentioned, this is one of the most, if not, no, this is the most important match thus far of the Valor series for them. One Trick needs to secure this win over Upsla to have an opportunity to get themselves into the top 4, but more importantly, getting themselves the ticket booked to E3 next month.
Yeah, this is so critical. So much on the line, and, you know, the mistakes are going to cost you so much. One mistake, 2 mistakes, it leads to tower, it leads to jungle, it leads to another tower, and as soon as you know it, you're behind almost 6k in gold. That's just significant advantage for One Trick now, and this is going to be very, very hard for Upsla to come back in the game.
Upsla, another member, finds himself caught out yet again. To give you a nice variant on the quote that you just mentioned, Sweetjay, it's 1 mistake, 2 mistake, 3 mistake floor, and that's where Upsla is finding themselves right now as One Trick is stampeding all over their efforts. Andy God is able to pick up that kill onto Zelf as well as Bear, and so just as I say that, Upsla makes me eat my words as the double kill comes out for God. The double stun comes out for One Trick. They're going to walk away safely, but they still get themselves a tower on the bot
Yeah,
side.
very nice stuns there by Always Green. He's landing his Alice skill shots really well there, stunning at the right moment, and as a result, able to save his team and escape there. But that was a very decisive engage by Upsla. They need to do exactly what they just did here. Even with the Darkslayer buff, they won that fight and was able to take down one member of One Trick. If they continue to fight this way, there's a lot of hope for this team to come back in this game alive.
Verche's able to pick up that kill onto Always Green. They're able to take a tower in the mid side as well. Dual Spirals finds himself in a rough spot, so he's going to have to be forced to back away. Bruticus as well, as he finds himself behind 20% HP. 5 members are in the middle of the map. They do not have a minion wave, but Upsla finding themselves a little bit of life blown back into their sails as they find themselves still down, however, 3,500 gold to One Trick.
Yeah, this is a nice play though. They're able to take jungle. They're able to get to close that gold deficit from 6,000 to 3,000. So this is not what One Trick wants here. And now what Upsla needs to do is just get it nice engaged. They just need to fight together. Exactly what they did at the tier 3 or high ground tower at top lane. What they did there was huge. Not going alone. Flowery, back off. Stop going in alone as Killgrod. Trying to be the solo hero and instead becomes the martyr. So they got to be careful. As long as they fight together and they combo their abilities, they have a really good chance, because the key is Mina's ultimate. They need to use that Dark Dominion to bait and taunt and then kill the heroes that are stuck onto Mina because of that taunt. And if they can do that, they can turn these fights easily around for them.
13 minutes, Abyssal Dragon has been started here by Upsla, but the members of One Trick are waiting in the wind, hopefully seeing if they can capitalize on a mistake of Upsla. As close as the game is right now, despite the fact that there is a 5,000 gold lead in favor of One Trick. One mistake, Sweetjay, one mistake is all it takes from either one of these teams. A bad fight to happen. If multiple members go down, there is enough pushing power on both sides for them to potentially look to end the game. Advantage, however, is in favor of One Trick, as Upsla has only taken 2 towers, none of them being inner towers, and so they're going to have to go through an extra wave of defenses before those high ground towers become a possibility to go down.
Yeah, this is where they need to do some nice rotations here. Play on their tower, protect it, check on the dragon. Looks like they're going to give up a tower, but One Trick is going to take this dragon here. But Upsla gets a tower, so it's a decent trade for both sides. Versa needs to get out here because he's going to be in big trouble.
You're going to have the Abyssal Dragon going down in favor of One Trick, so Bruticus being able to pick that one up. Verche going to have to be very careful, as he's going to have to be forced to walk away. But with multiple members on the bottom side of the map, this gives an opportunity for Upsla to push towards the top. They're going to secure themselves that inner tower on the top side, which is going to open up the doors for the high ground here for the top side of One Trick's base. They're going to secure themselves a couple extra little goodies in the jungle that is One Trick's, push up themselves some waves, and wait for the dragon, or for the Dark Slayer that will be spawning in 35 seconds.
Not bad. 2 towers for an Abyssal Dragon and a tower. Mostly an even trade. However, the gold lead is only 3K difference now, and Upsla has a chance to come back in. They cannot underestimate One Trick, because obviously, One Trick came here to play. He got to be careful here, because Omen, with that lockdown ability, they have to save whoever Omen locks down, because if they back off and run away and Omen locks down one of their heroes, Upsla has to fight and counter-engage. However, L'Oreal's ultimate is going to do so much damage in this composition because it's mostly a melee composition.
One Trick tries to get themselves a little bit of a cheeky play in the Pixel Brush, but they do just enough to catch up the members of Upsla. This is the moment that One Trick was looking for. It was a catch-out, but more importantly, it was a synchronization of the team fights to know when exactly they needed to go in. God does his best to get to the back line, but it doesn't matter because he doesn't have any kind of support. Verche is sitting at 100% HP, but that's because the rest of his team was dead before he had an opportunity to join the fight. And so now, with 4 members down, all 5 left alive for One Trick, as well as a wave pushing in. I don't know if there's anything
this is going to be
do.
game here, and that was such a bad mistake. They're getting caught out. They have to initiate first for the Mina comp. As a result, they let Mina get focused first, and they just blew Mina up, and now this is going to be One Trick's game. GG to One Trick.